All right, y'all, we are back right now. We did our safety fitness procedures. We're going to jump into another part here where we talk about let me see where we at. Minimum levels of financial insurance responsibility and the rules of practice for proceedings. Let's see what they're talking about in here. Chief Safety Officer. Determine whether a motor carrier, intermodal equipment provider, property broker, freight forwarder, or its agents, employees, or any other person subject to the jurisdiction of the FMCSA has failed to comply with the provisions or requirements of applicable statutes and the corresponding regulations, and to issue an appropriate order to compel compliance with the statute or regulation, assess a civil penalty, or both if such violations are found. So this tells us right here that we can report these individuals who are breaking the rules. So everybody who worried about the brokers, what you're doing, what they're not doing, what's making you mad, and the rates, come tap in with me. Come tap in with me because I know where to find it. And I'm going to tell you where to find it too, but you got to come holler at me. The rules govern filing a complaint, right, of a substantial violation. And I know a couple brokers right now who doing that. They breaking it for sure because I worked with them when they was doing it. And I'm gonna tell it because they messing up our money. They messing up our money. So this will tell you all of the people who was included, what it means. Separation of functions. Look, it tell us what we can do. Take them to court. They telling you what to do. Tell you how much time you can add to it. Come on now. Tells you everything right here. Complaints. Any person alleging that a substantial violation of any regulation issued under the Motor Carrier Safety Act of 1984 is occurring or has occurred must file a written complaint with the FMCSA stating the substance of the alleged substantial violation no later than 90 days after the event. The written complaint, including the information below, must be filed with the National Consumer Complaint Database, there it is, or any FMCSA division administrator. Let's see what this say. Let's go to it. We'll come back in a second. Name and address of the person who filed it. Complete, concise statement. Complaint of harassment. Drivers alleging a violation of, let's look at this chapter 2. Harassment must file a written complaint with the FMCSA stating the substance of the alleged harassment by a motor carrier no later than 90 days after the event. The written complaint, including the information described below, must be filed with that same one, right? This is if a driver is harassing somebody, right? People be going to the FMCS, not the FMCSA, they'll go to Carrier 411 and report the driver. And then now the driver or the carrier got this bad report and can't do business because we don't understand what should be happening. Complaint of coercion. A driver alleging a violation of this must file a Written complaint to the FMCSA. Let's see what this violation is. Coercion. See, we get it. It tells us everything to do. Get adjudication done. Come on, man. It lays it out. Hmm. Looks like if it's a claim against a broker or somebody, you can file it and they got to pay you out for it. Look, they got to do is settlements. When negotiation produce an agreement as to the amount or terms of payment of a civil penalty, a settlement agreement shall be drawn and signed by the respondent. Look, brief statement of the violation, the amount claimed to be paid. We could be getting money out these brokers that's doing all these things. A motor carrier is liable for any act or failure to act by an employee as defined by, let's see what that subchapter say, right? If the act or failure to act is within the course of the motor carrier's operations, the fact that an employee may be liable for a violation in a proceeding under this subchapter based on the employee's act or failure to act does not affect the liability of the motor carrier, right? Burden of proof. Come on, man. They protecting the carrier, trying to. But how we gonna protect the carrier as a dispatcher, as any of these people, if we don't know what it is that we can do? What sort of protections we have? Protective orders. Assistant administrator or the administrative law judge, if one has been appointed, may make any order which justice requires to protect a party or person from annoyance, embarrassment, oppression, or undue burden or expense, including one of the followings: discovery not to be had. Discovery may be had on specified terms. Look, so if it's not right, you can get protection to keep people from messing up your business. This is all legal stuff. I've seen these words in my custody hearings, interrogatories and shit. Look at this, man. Just a massive, massive amounts of information. Let me see. So here's where we can report people in the National Consumer Complaint Database. IMA. Brokers can file complaints. Drivers can file complaints. Consumers can file complaints. But the brokers will go straight to carrier 411 and do that. And you should be doing it here, right? Let the FMCSA handle it. So harassment is defined. Harassment of drivers prohibited. As used in this section, harass or harassment means an action by a motor carrier toward a driver employed by the motor carrier, including an independent contractor while in the course of operating a vehicle, involving the use of information available to the motor carrier through an ELD or through other technology used in combination that the motor carrier knew, should have known, will result in. So you can't be treating your drivers bad. Can't be having them driving out there crazy, and it's against the ELDs, right? Simple. Tells you what you can do. Coercion is permitted. A motor carrier, shipper, receiver, or transportation intermediary, aka broker or freight forwarder, including their respective agents, officers, representatives, may not coerce a driver of a commercial motor vehicle to operate such vehicle in violation of those terms. A driver who believes he or she was coerced to violate a regulation described in this, file a written complaint. Come on now. Here's all the definitions. Tells you what's covered. All the definitions. So you'll know exactly what you're talking about. You no longer have to rely on the information from another individual. You got it now. Right here. You're welcome. Minimum levels of financial responsibility for the motor carriers. This does not apply to a motor vehicle that has a gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, of less than 10,000 pounds. So this is why box truck drivers don't fall into these categories. See? Financial responsibility. Excuse me. This tells us everything we need. Here we go. Here's the insurance. For carriers, 10,000 pounds or more, property non-hazardous, you need to have at least 750,000. For hire private, 10,000 or more pounds, $5 million. That's for hazardous. For oil, $1 million. Bulk division, $5 million. Tell us right there what we need. Tell us everything. Electronic filing of surety bonds, trust fund agreement, certificate of insurance and cancellations. Insurance company will file that for you. Motor carrier passengers tells you your insurance levels. 16 passengers or more, 5 million. 15 passengers or less, you need 1.5. Tell us everything right here, y'all. Surety bonds for motor carriers and property brokers. Who knew motor carriers could get a surety bond as well, right? Minimum limits. Tell you about a commodity transported. Come on now. Tap in with me, y'all. Tell your people, come on over here. I got you. I'm going to take care of y'all. Believe that. What the broker got to do, they bond. Qualifications as self-insured. You want to self-insure. You can self-insure yourself. You just got to prove you got the bread for it. Why wouldn't you? If you'd have made $1 million in the industry, or you done put away 750,000, or you can show that, right? Why wouldn't you just go ahead and insure yourself? Stop paying the insurance companies. But how many dispatchers is telling us about that? How many of these dispatch trainers telling you about that? How many of these driving companies telling you about that? Right? Trust fund agreements, everything. We could be out here making it happen for ourselves. We're letting other people tell us what to do. I know I'm another people, but I'm y'all people. Come on now. Let's get it in, bro. All right. So we got our minimum levels. Here's the Federal Motor Carrier Safety General Regulations. Hours of service, inspection, repair, maintenance, transporting hazardous materials, where to park at, employee safety standards. It's all right here. Come on in. We'll sit here and we'll go through it together. Come on now. Come on now. This is going to make it a lot easier for you guys to really understand how I'm about to show you, look and tell you about everything to check, all that stuff on the truck. Tell you everything. Where to stop on the railroads, all that. Come on now. All right. So those are the regulations. You all got access to it. You're also going to have access, and I hope you've checked out some of the shortcut links. And you can see what these definitions are, what it is that we need to do, those interchange agreements, that type of thing. This will be our last one in this series for the 49 CFR. When we come back, our next section is going to be us. We're going to go ahead and get immersed into the game. So we're going to be assuming a role. And from here, we're going to assume one of these roles, and I'm going to work out what it is that we should be doing for real. I'm going to give you the blueprint, let you know how to apply this freight acquisition management methodology, how we can use our imagination, find a team, and those efforts are going to motivate us to continue to move forward, right? Teach you how to get you an item, teach you these tools right here. You already have a customer contact guide. I'm still trying to decide on the carrier contact guide. We'll see. I might include that as well. I believe I will. These resources you see here, I'm going to show you how to use those to find carriers, agents. And I'll show you how to use that load board, all of that. I got you. But we're going to assume a role in our next one. I appreciate y'all. I'm so happy right now to be able to provide this. I'm really thankful and grateful. And, inshallah. Peace, y'all.